Folks, on a rare, yes, a rare Wednesday night, we are live here on Broad Street South, episode 158, with the newest team in the league that we hope to see great things from because they're going to be in a tough division. They already came from one tough division up in the East, and now coming out to the Southeast, it doesn't get any easier. But with the Charlotte Purple Jackets tonight, we have team market owner Anthony Bleek and also team president India Timpton. So it's going to be a great night to talk to them both, as I learned a little bit off air of who they like other than being in the TBL. And you learn things as you talk to different people, and it's always enjoying and an enjoyment to talk to folks because you never know between the teams that they like professionally or around the league or even what they do away from the scene. So it's going to be a good night to talk some TBL basketball. And for those who don't know, it's the Basketball League. And you guys can always follow all the action on the basketballleague.net. Also on their social media, the Basketball League or TBL. So you guys can follow them there as well. The same way with the Charlotte Purple Jackets. If you guys go to, if I remember correctly, QC Purple Jackets, you'll be able to follow everything on social media. So with that being said, and I know Anthony keeps popping in and out. So hopefully he'll pop back in there as I bring both of our guests here on the screen. So first of all, let me say welcome because I do see India on the screen there. India, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I know Anthony will pop back in. There he is. And he's back. So thank you, India, for coming on. Anthony, thank you as well, both for coming on here. And I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, super excited to be here with you, Angel.
No problem. Listen, it's first of all, it's what I've met both David and Evelyn, and it's a blessing even just to talk to both of them because of the opportunities they present for people in this league. And it doesn't matter, as I mentioned a couple of nights ago on another show that we had, it doesn't matter as far as the ethnicities, your professionalism, or anything else like that. What they care about is the actual opportunities and what you believe in and what you want to do with that opportunity. Because we all know it. Life, no one shows up at our door and knocks on our door and says, hey, opportunities here. You going to let me in? No. You have to work for many things. Sometimes you can get lucky. An opportunity does knock. And it's up to you to actually open up the door and say, okay, where are we going now? So coming from the Northeast Division with the Connecticut Cobras. Anthony, I'll start off here with you. And then now going down to Charlotte. First of all, the two transitions, right? Because you come from one tough division up north, and now you're coming to what I think is a little bit of a tougher division down south. What made you want to make the switch between the Cobras to now being in Charlotte? Oh, and we lost him. Well, wait for him to come back once again. Sometimes it just happens. It all depends on the connection and stuff you end up having. But so while we wait for, here he comes. All right, Anthony, you're back. We're waiting to see what happens with Anthony here. He might go out.
I might get him kicked out.
Right, we'll wait for I can hear you. The only thing we lost I can hear you, but I lost your video. All right, we'll wait for Andy to come back. Yep. I can see you, Anthony. Well, maybe he'll exit out. All right, maybe he'll exit out. So, I'll go to the team president. First of all, India, once again, thank you for coming on with me. We really do appreciate it here at Broad Street South, but I like to get to know and here comes Anthony back again. So, Andy, can you hear us? We may be losing the audio there. Andy, can you hear us? Let's see. You might have to. Worst case, if depending where if you're using your phone, try to exit out, or if not, if you're using your laptop, try to use your phone. One or the two. One of them will end up grabbing it. Sometimes just the way it works. So we'll wait and see what happens with Anthony. But all right, okay. So getting back, and we'll figure out the situation there with Anthony. But so one, if you can everyone know a little bit about your background, and also how did you become team president here for Charlotte?
Sure. Well, yeah. Again, so happy to be here and super grateful for having us. And hopefully, we get Ant's situation figured out over there, so you can really kind of talk with both of us. Because one of the beauties of our partnership that we are kind of just getting into with the two of us is we're bringing such different perspectives, and hopefully, we're going to see it come into fruition and really make this program soar as we're kind of joining the TBL here in Charlotte. But myself personally, Ann is new to the Queen City. But I was raised in Charlotte. I've been here since I was 4, outside of going to school and coming back. So my love for the city has been strong and always will be strong. And I'm super excited to bring another professional team to the area as Charlotte continues to grow. I think we're now the 10th largest city in the country. We've now expanded with soccer, and we have the Hornets here and the Panthers as well, which I'm sure we may touch on later now that we're in football season. But been in Charlotte, and over the last couple of years had the opportunity to work with a friend of mine to develop the Queen City Pro-Am. And from outside of the Pro-Am and the success that we had over the summer with that 6 to 7 weeks of competitive basketball, 3 nights a week, just being able to see the community come out on a regular basis and support men and women as they're playing in these different games, and just showcasing all of the talent that we had in the city in the summer, we decided to kind of move forward with that and develop an ABA team. And outside of our ABA team last year, which was our first year in the league, we did make it to the playoffs. And then that's kind of where Ant came into the picture and offered us a great opportunity to expand that Purple Jackets franchise and bring it into the TBL.
No, does it, again, because a lot of people know that obviously Charlotte's had a team, an actual NBA team, then they went away, then they ended up coming back. So the similarity, somewhat of the similarities, because obviously and I'll bring up the logo here in a minute, but for a lot of people who've been Charlotte Hornet fans before, and they know what the team had to go through, they know the struggles. Obviously, again, it went away. I believe they went to New Orleans, became the Pelicans, and then Charlotte ended up getting the franchise back again. Other than for the NBA team that's there in Charlotte, how much of an opportunity does this present to anyone around? Obviously, a lot of men end up playing in the TBL. In the future, who knows if the women end up joining the league, or maybe they create the next division for the women. But as far as for the men who's out there who's trying out and may have come up short, whether being they played in high school, try to make it in college, you came up a little bit short, let someone know, like, now you guys being there and being a professional basketball team, how much of an opportunity does it present for someone to maybe showcase their skills to be signed up for maybe just an overseas team or maybe even the D League in the NBA?
Yeah, no, for sure. You hit so many different nails on the heads there. But, the TBL and the opportunity that it will give to those in Charlotte, North Carolina in general, we have a lot of strong college programs, but sometimes aren't always seen as, a hoop state per se. So now bringing the TBL here in Charlotte and some of the other teams that are now in North and South Carolina, there's so many guys that are going to have, another opportunity to showcase that talent that they, were able to put forth in high school or college, or, as you mentioned, possibly getting overseas contracts. The exposure that this league allows on top of the experience is just really unmatched. You have an opportunity to play at a professional level, to showcase your skills, to learn, and to also play against top talent all over the country. For some guys, being able to travel from different states, as we are going to be playing in these games when the schedule comes out in November, we'll have a little bit better of an idea of where we're playing. But it also gives them an opportunity to travel. Depending on your background or, what you have going on in your personal life. Some people may have never been out of the city or the state. So outside of just the basketball exposure, this league does so much for every player individually.
And again, you're absolutely right, because it's about the opportunities. And I think that's the one thing I fell in love with the TBL, because it's like no other league ever. I mean, you have the NBA, and I think for everybody, they know you're talking about billions upon billions of dollars that the TBL doesn't have, but it's expanding their franchises and seeing the teams end up coming in here. Also, if you take a look at the Atlanta team is going to be the first one ever within the market. It's going to be all NFT. So meaning that if you want to join into the league or join into the team, you can pay X amount and you're basically a part ownership. And that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out throughout the entire season. But again, it's an opportunity that you probably would never get in the NBA. So with the TBL, I like the way it's structured. I like the way they do things, because again, it just showcases guys who, and again, it could have been barring an injury. Maybe they just didn't have enough to be able to play, but now they're finally getting to that point where they can climb that next step and get over that next ladder. So therefore they can go overseas. I know a couple of guys have been going to Brazil, and for some guys, that's a destination. Some people are destination China. Some people are destination Turkey. So they're getting those opportunities to be able to do so. And then once that contract is up, they end up coming back stateside, and then they try to join one of the other leagues that are here. So they're constantly playing ball to be able to get that agent and finally come out and showcase and see what they're all about. And Anthony, I don't know if did you get us back here, or are you still kind of frozen? So no, I think Anthony, he says now can hear. Anthony, if you hopefully if not, he'll be able to get on his phone. If he's on his laptop, he might be able to switch over to his phone and try logging that way.
And I know, not speaking for Ant, but just in conversations we've had, he's helped to kind of show me and expose me to the great product that is the TBL because of his 2 years of experience with the Connecticut team that he had, the Connecticut Cobras. And, with ownership there, learning the business side of things, exposing me to the possibilities that now being the president of the team now here in Charlotte, the different rooms that I'll be able to go in and be a part of the conversations with the Magleys, as you mentioned, who, are the family that, are at the top of the chain of this league. And putting it all together and the vision that they've put together is helping so many other people like Ant and myself be exposed to this and also be able to help those in the Charlotte community. It's one of those things where it's more than just basketball. We're helping people with, helping to provide for their families is something that Ant and I have talked about when it comes to players, and even off of the court with different staff that we bring in, whether that's, videographers or photographers, people that are helping and trying to get their different franchises and things like that off of the ground. Offering spaces within, the gym for people to have tables up to sell merchandise or personal products that they may make or things like that, different people with maybe food trucks outside, dancers performing at halftime. There's just so many different avenues that the TBL touches on outside of one of the main ones being giving back to the community. And we've already, had conversations about different events that we're going to try to do monthly to have our guys and our coaching staff and the rest of our staff active in the community. But it really just touches on so many different areas and avenues. And those are conversations that Ann and I have had. And he's, helped me to understand just so many strengths of this league. And you mentioned too, when it comes to the basketball side of things, there are guys, and the numbers speak for themselves, that have played in the TBL that are now signing contracts overseas. And there are a handful that have even had opportunities to play in the G League or to make it to an NBA roster, even if all of the, time, I'm sure every player on every roster wants to play the whole game. But, it just doesn't always shake out that way. But to have the opportunity to suit up, to participate, to have those memories is something that'll never go away, whether you play, 60 minutes or 60 seconds. And, those are just things that, Ann and I have discussed, and he's kind of helped to introduce to me as I joined this league and this journey with him that he's been on the last 2 years.
And you hit a great point there when you're talking about as far as being involved in the community, because I think that's the one thing, and just looking and I'll kind of switch sides here, but when it comes to the NFL and for the Philadelphia Eagles, who I root for, the one thing the Eagles have always done and been involved in the community. It's always been big, whether to paint the schoolyard, whether to paint the side of a building, whether to clean up, an empty lot that's just been trash filled for years and they finally want to do something. You mentioned one of the big things is the involvement in the community. And to me, any team, especially when it comes to this league alone, if you get yourself really involved within the community, and it could be just reading to a book to a kindergartner so they can kind of see the team, the exposure, and see, what, these guys are involved with us. They truly embrace Charlotte. We want to embrace them back. And that brings the people into the stands. And so for me, first of all, I applaud you for it, because that's exactly what you guys need. It's to be in that community so everyone can know, whether being in the Queen City, whether being down there in South Carolina, because the only place I consider the South, even though they say North Carolina is the South, but to me, it's always been from South Carolina, just because, for obvious reasons, because it says South Carolina. But when it comes to the South, everybody knows. I mean, it's fun being in the South because it's a lot, not taking anything away from up north, because I'm from the Northeast, but it's friendlier. And so when you get involved with the community, it's a different type of environment. Everybody's a little more cordial. People want to come out a little bit more. They want to see what your team is all about. Who's the ownership? Who's involved? Who can they talk to? If they have fundraisers, can they depend on you guys to come out and hopefully help out on that fundraiser? So I hope as team president that you're able to put them out there, just like you said, if it's once a month, so people can see who they are. They can kind of get familiarized with them. We know the guys may end up changing, because who knows? You can have a guy on the floor come January, but come March, there could have been a scout somewhere saying, hey, you know what? I need player X. And now he's coming with me. And then you guys put in the fill-in. I saw it with the Tampa Bay Titans when I was doing the broadcast for them. So it's interesting to see how all these things take place. But I think the community involvement, that's going to be the major ticket for this team. And it's for any team in the TBL. The Owensboro Thoroughbreds in Kentucky, you see that a lot. There's tons of involvement that they do out in the community. And that's how they've made a big name for themselves, including other teams that are out there, the AC Gambits. I mean, you're going up the Northeast Corridor as well. So you guys are it's nice because you're coming into a good market. Charlotte, by no means, a lot of people consider it a small market, but Charlotte is really not a small market anymore. They haven't been, truthfully, in a couple of years. I know the only thing they're missing is a Major League Baseball team, and who knows, things can happen there as well. But it's good to see that you guys are trying to get in that kind of involvement. So if you do, just kind of hypothetically, what things would you like to do within the community?
Sure. Yeah, some of the things we've discussed, first up would be, some sort of a trunk or treat type drive when it comes to Halloween time, depending on the child and their home. Some people, they don't feel comfortable having their kids walking through a neighborhood. So something we did last year with the team, we set up more of like a table in a church parking lot, and the kids were able to come by and, show off their costumes, take pictures with our players, and then also grab a couple pieces of candy, which I wasn't allowed to do as a kid. My dad being a dentist, he didn't really let my sister and I have too much of that Halloween candy, but just giving them that opportunity to show off their costumes, and then even to go inside where we had a court as well to shoot around and go through a couple of shooting drills and layup type drills and things like that is something we've discussed for the month of October. And moving past that, we've already partnered to do a street cleanup. And to also, we've discussed blood drives, and a book drive is something that we've done in the summer with our Pro-Am, and having the books that were donated to try to showcase different, characters on the front that were kids of color. So, just giving that too, depending on, the different environment too, as you get back to the community, we want to make sure that everyone's represented and is understanding the importance of education and things like that. And sometimes for kids, seeing someone that looks like them is the best way to do that and to kind of get them hooked on reading. So those are some of the things that we've discussed and things we've had success with in the past as we transition from the ABA into the TBL, and also with our Pro-Am that we've run in the summer.
No, listen, again, and there's a lot of points you hit right in the head, because a lot of times people do interact, and it's in a lot of today's society, people say, well, why can't this person get along with that person? And a lot of it is because people tend to understand each other, meaning if you have of the same ethnicity, sometimes the message comes a lot different than if you hear from somebody else. And not taken away from anyone, but when you're trying to relate and show kids that come from your own neighborhood, and you're trying to show them, where do you go? Who do I talk to? How do I get out of here? And I'm not saying by no means that I'm not talking about anywhere from hoods or anything else like that. I'm talking about the kids as they're growing up. They're looking for that role model. They want to see mom and dad might be too busy working. So they're looking to see what can they do to get themselves to be better, to come out, to make sure they're doing and making good choices, because life is about choices. So I like exactly what you had stated. And Anthony, hopefully we got you back here. Are you good? Oh, and as I say that, he goes away. It is just the way sometimes things work out. But I want to bring up here, let's see. Andy, are you back?
I am back. I am
All
back.
right. Okay.
Guys, I sincerely apologize. My phone is going crazy. I don't know what's going on. So
That's all right. Sometimes listen, it happens. But India has been doing a fantastic job filling in between the segments here. So it's a good job by India. I will say that much. But so I want to get back to the original question with you. Hopefully it'll come back here. But why the switch from Connecticut down to Charlotte?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, most importantly, was a family decision. I was the caretaker for my mom in Connecticut. She passed away recently. So kind of, had my family down here in Charlotte. So I moved primarily for family and job reasons. Once I got a chance to move, I reached out to Evelyn and David and Commissioner Wiley and just, asked them and said, hey, we don't have a team in the Charlotte market. I think it's an outstanding market because we also don't have a team in Atlanta. And we began those talks, and they trusted me to start a team in Charlotte. So that was kind of the beginning of the transition.
Okay. So, I mean, that's definitely a good thing that they, they allowed you to do so, because again, they're just, both of them are incredible. I had the opportunity of talking to them again, when they came down to Tampa for the final game. I was hoping, again, big hope was that the Titans weren't eliminated the first game, or at least the first round of playoffs, but it was tough. There was a lot of injuries at the time with the guys, and it's hard. And that's at any level of any sport. It is extremely hard to keep all your guys healthy, as we all know this. But unfortunately,
Yes.
the Titans came up short. But it was funny because when David walked into the arena and he looked over, he says, "I know you." I'm looking at it like, that's usually what someone's supposed to say. But when we start naming different things, and he was talking to me on a different level, I thought, boy, he really gets involved. Like, he watches, he sees what's going on. And then I had the opportunity of interviewing Evelyn on the spot. And it was, a fantastic conversation. I think we were supposed to have her on for like 5 minutes. I think we went on for 20 minutes on the post game, which was a lot of fun. But they do create a lot of opportunities. So it's great that your family, hopefully you guys are happier than down in the Carolinas being up north, because I know it's tough up north right now.
I'm really, really happy. I'm really excited about this market, this city, what we are about to embark on. I think it's a great, great opportunity. And speaking of Evelyn and David, it's just, they're so different, but they complement each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
David is a basketball guy, and he's passionate about basketball. Evelyn is a people person, and she cares about who you are as an individual and your family. And I look so forward when I talk to them.
It might be a little bit of an audio issue. Hopefully he'll come back. Yep. So we lost him again. Hopefully we'll end up getting him back. And having sometimes, as great as technology may be, it's also a big hindrance as well, because we try to make things work the way they should, and unfortunately sometimes it just doesn't work out the way it should. But hopefully we'll getting him back. So, well, as we wait for Anthony to come back, the one thing, being a team president, and it's obviously is a huge responsibility. Oh, I think I heard him there for a second. Hopefully I'll end up coming back here. But it's a vast amount of responsibility. So for you being, I'm assuming, let me ask a question before I assume myself wrong here. But is this the first time you've actually been team president at this level?
At the professional level with the TBL, yes. With the ABA team that we had last year, I also served in the same role. But just, the level of professionalism and the eyes that will be on the team and the exposure that they will have now in the TBL versus the ABA league is kind of where we'll differentiate. But I have had the opportunity to do that last year, and I really enjoyed it. Everything from practice planning to helping getting involved in drills, traveling with the team. We even did a Christmas social, and some of the community service that we talked about were all things that I really enjoyed. I played basketball in college myself, so I've always had a deep love for the game. I had full ride to UNCG, which is in the Southern Conference, not too far from actually where we are here in Charlotte. And my sister, Sadia, played at Davidson, which is right up the road here in Charlotte, about 30 minutes or so, where their claim to fame is Steph Curry, of course. And we look forward to playing on Curry Court this year, again, with the Purple Jackets in Uptown Charlotte. But basketball has always had strong ties between my sister and I, and, our sisterhood, and even the teammates that I had. And as I see my friends go on to do different things professionally now, it's just amazing how many friends and relationships I've had from age 8 when I began all the way till now. And these are the same young ladies that, support and repost the flyers for games, but also will come and sit in the stands and support the team. And, it's just the game of basketball, as we've touched on, and with the TBL, the game itself, just opens so many doors and can bring so many different opportunities and relationships and all of that into your life. And I've been blessed for what the game has offered to me. And that's one of the reasons that I have taken on this role, is to just stay connected to the game a little bit more. We had talked before, my current role with ESPN is more in a production space, and I'm in the office, but being a part of the TBL and the Purple Jackets allows me to get back on the floor and to be a little bit more in the action and there with the guys. And I'm sure if you talk with some of them, they'll say that I'm a little tough, but that nothing that I say, isn't things that they probably already know that they should have been working on or done differently than they did.
Yeah, I think that's important. Because if you played ball yourself, the good thing is when you know the craft, it's a great thing, because then you can be not only just a team president, but you can be a coach. You can take that role on because you know the expectations. So it's not like somebody can walk up to you and tell you something completely different. They're not going to throw you off your game because you know the game. And to me, if you're going to be an all-around staff member, you should get to know parts of the game, even if you don't know it. It doesn't mean that, you don't qualify for certain things. But if you come in, let's say you guys get a consultant, and that consultant may not know anything about the NBA. They may not know anything about basketball. But if they take the time and learn about it, at least the fundamentals, they may end up getting into it. And I don't expect it for a consultant, if they're hired for, let's just say, sponsorships or ad space or something else like that, for him to come in and make a decision what a coach will end up doing. But as you evolve into your role, to me, you always want to learn a little more of what it takes, why your team is there, what makes the whole process go. I'm the type of person that's one thing I absolutely love. Like if someone tells me, like, I can try to pick your brain as much as I possibly can, because in the position you are both at ESPN and where you are right now with Charlotte, as you speak, you can hear the confidence and you can see your professionalism. And so to me, if I'm speaking to you one-on-one and let's say I met you out in the street and had no idea what you do, I would be just intrigued to the point like, okay, I got to guess what she does, because it's not a normal type conversation. Like there's got to be something else. Now, when we go out with our friends and everything else, obviously it's different because we tend to relax a little bit, or we're with our families. But when you meet someone for the first time and you have that first professional interaction with you, I would say you completely knock it out the park, because for me, it's been impressive just listening to you from where as far as your background, your work ethics, and the things you end up doing. So it's my hat off to you, because I'm pretty sure you'll go further, not only at ESPN, but even with the league itself, because it takes someone like yourself to be passionate about what you're going to do. And if you can help out other teams and help them, to develop their skills and make team presidents understand, like, maybe this didn't work for you, but this worked for us. And, just to be in that involvement, because it is a community, I think there'll be a bigger appreciation. So again, thank you for what you do, because it shows. As you're talking, you can feel the energy, you can see what comes out of you, and then that's the best thing, because again, you can tell that you not only love this game, but you love what you do. And if you don't love what you do, as I say on my own show, then it's no longer fun. There's no reason to do it. So I appreciate everything you do, but looking at this, I have the picture up there on the screen for Curry Court. So that is from the actual Currys?
Yes. So the Curry family, all of their kids went to school in Charlotte. So they have a daughter who played volleyball, and then the two boys, obviously, that played basketball. And, the dad, Dell, who kind of laid the groundwork for everyone. But they came together. And as you come into the Carol Hefner Community Center, there's a trophy case that showcases accomplishments from all three kids and from dad. And then as you transition through the lobby into the space, you've got the 30 logo on the floor and the mural that's painted up in the background there. And, we're hoping that they'll, may be more involved in the future as we kind of continue to lay the fundamental pieces for the TBL team. But the gym itself does showcase, everything from trophies in the lobby to the mural inside and the big 30 on the center court.
All right. So now that's got to be quite the amazing feeling, though, because everybody, listen, people can say whatever they want to. First of all, Steph Curry, just a beast within himself. I mean, and he's a class act. Honest to God, he's a class act. You don't see him involved in like anything silly or stupid or anything else like that. Always constantly wants to help people out. And you don't get that much anymore from a lot of people, because when you get to a level like his, a lot of times they don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to associate with anybody. And they just feel like I'm untouchable. That's one thing I will say about Steph, is that he's always been a part of any community that he's always been involved with. And he's always voicing his opinion. He talks about, at least that we know of, always says the truth. And he is even hard on himself. He knows if his game wasn't good. He knows if it was. I mean, they went through 3 out of 4 years, NBA champs, went through their drought and go right back there again. And he doesn't give up. Yep. So that takes a lot from the family. And that shows a lot from the family itself, because his brother, I enjoyed his brother being in Philly. And then we had to do the trade. He had to go to the other Brooklyn Nets team that that Anthony likes, but I wish he would end up staying. It would have been nice to see him transition over and how about the Sixers? But I understand it's a business thing, and they had to do what they had to do. But one thing that I want to get into as well, and Anthony, hopefully we got you back here again.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Well, listen, and as you were talking about, as far as being happy down there in the Carolinas, that's always a great thing. So now adding key pieces to your team, you have your team president. You guys are looking obviously to develop a lot more. So if let's just say if you guys were reaching out to somebody or you want to talk about it here on the show, what else or at least what other roles are you guys looking for so people know that if they do have interest, then maybe they can reach out to you guys?
We're looking for sales and marketing, obviously, someone to get out in the community and meet with people and help build sponsorships and partnerships. Um, well, India's done a great job of putting a staff together and putting a team together, even down to hiring our coach, which we're going to announce pretty soon. She's done a fantastic job of putting it together. So we're just hoping that we can get some partners down here in the Charlotte area that'll help us out and help us build this thing out correctly. I had such a great staff in Connecticut and a great group of people in Connecticut. So I think I'm on the same group of people here. And just as you know from talking to Indy in the last 30 minutes, she's absolutely amazing.
She is. I'm telling you, I'm listen, I'm beyond impressed because he's just the way how she carries her. I could literally sit here for the rest of the night and just hear her talk because you can just hear it. It's like it naturally pours out of her. And that's great because that's exactly what you want. And India, honestly, God, I hope you continue to succeed. Again, like I said, in your professional career with ESPN, I hope the ultimate goal that you're looking for, that God will pave that way for you so you can get there along with your family and friends and everybody else who support you. And speaking of family and friends, who do you think not only has been the biggest supportive person in your life, but who do you feel like you reflected upon to get to where you are today?
I would have to say it's my sister.
Hold on, before you answer. Wait, before you answer that, let me answer. Her mom is amazing. Her mom is incredible. Her mom is a bundle of energy. Her mom is, when walks the room, commands the room.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah. But yeah, he did have an opportunity. We all got a chance to sit down for dinner not too long ago. My parents do live in the Charlotte area, and my sister does as well. So really, just kind of bringing him into our family as much as he's bringing me into his business family. But between the three of them, with my dad helping to give us the opportunities to be in those different places and showcase our talents and abilities and to become full-faceted young ladies with everything from sports to academics to religion and all of those different type of things, giving back to the community. Even as you mentioned with the Currys, their family did the same thing and helping to make their kids grounded. Our parents did the exact same thing with us. And even from the side of basketball, my sister and I are 13 months apart, and my mom was telling Aunt the story the other day at dinner. But she was really the reason I started playing, because she told me I would never be good enough to make her team. So as a big sibling, your little sibling can't tell you what you can and cannot do. So from that day forward, I started playing, and we always played together up until college when we went our separate ways, and even talked about trying to play on the same college team. But that's always been a big thing for me, our relationship and kind of pushing each other. As much as she succeeded and I've succeeded differently, it's kind of also helped us to kind of see the other sides of things when there's anything that's going on. If I see it one way, she'll see it another, and it just helps us both grow in that facet. When it's been on the court, off the court, with friendships, and even now with business, as we work in our different careers, me with ESPN and she's more on the music side with Live Nation. But as we navigate this adult world and the current climate of everything that's going on financially and politically and different things like that, to be having the same best friend that I've been able to count on since day one has been a blessing, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. And our parents being right there to support us, and as he mentioned, my mom being a firecracker. She, as an only child, also really helped to foster our sister relationship, because having a sibling was something that she always really wanted. So between the three of them, what you see in front of you right now is a product of that, along with the game of basketball and all of the doors that it's opened, whether it's been here in Charlotte at the college level and I've even been able to go to Vietnam and coach kids because of doors that basketball has opened. So if nothing else, I give back to the game because it has allowed me to be in all of the different rooms and positions that I've been in to this point.
Anthony,
Yes.
you talk about hitting a powerhouse right out of the gate. Anthony, come on.
I hit a home run. And you know, I keep her.
I mean, it's crazy. First of all, I got the team market owner for the Charlotte Purple Jackets, and then I feel like it's like two rock stars in one, because actually three. Because again, ESPN, mom being involved in Live Nation. I mean, there's got to be somebody else going to pop up in the family that there was an artist somewhere. But no, listen, family is vitally important, because we know we all need them, right? No matter what, no one has a perfect family, and we all make our mistakes as we grow up. You know, we challenge ourselves. We hope that we do things the right way, and that we do make our parents proud. That's the one big thing. And the other thing as well is that you never stop trying to, pursue your dreams or follow your dreams. Because for me, at the ripe age of 21, I'm lying so much, but it's okay. But at the ripe age of 21 here, you don't give up on something that you desire, that makes you happy. And for me, even though I do this, right now on a different level, and I'm thankful and grateful that we're heard overseas, that we're here stateside, that our friends to the north, they listen to the show, and it's a great thing. But that's been because it's blood, sweat, and tears. I have my full-time job throughout the day, and then in the morning I wake up early before basically the sun comes up, and I'm constantly reaching out to people and what can I do and everything else. And then throughout the day, as I'm driving, I start lining up in my head, okay, who do I need to reach out to? When I come home, I take that first half-hour break, and I'm in the studio and constantly doing stuff until about 11:30 at night. Get back up at about 4:30 in the morning, and the process starts all over again. But if you learn how to hustle and do the things that you believe in, eventually you'll make it. I mean, the studio here itself started out with a door, a piece of green paper, a laptop, and a crate. And then eventually it's evolved to what it is today. But all because we want to see ourselves do better. And we hope that the people that are behind us, whether it being our children, whether it being our cousins, any family members, so they can see like, wow, they set a goal for themselves and they achieved it. So again, thanks to both of you guys for being able to hold standards that I think a lot of people can reflect upon and see, like, if they can do it, there's no reason why I can't do it. And which kind of leads me to the question. And I know Anthony's still kind of going in and out of here. So India, and hopefully Anthony can hear us as well. You guys now being involved. Yeah. Okay. Being involved in a community, right? And we hear, as India, you pointed out here momentarily, as we talk about society today, how important is this? And I ask my friends this all the time, but as far as within the Black community, how important is it that we show everyone what it takes to get to that next level and not listen to a lot of negative things that go on when people tell you, you can't do this, you're not good enough, or you're not of anything right? How important is it for everyone to show within the community that here's what you need to do, and stop listening to all this stuff that there's no fulfillment in your life?
I think that the TBL provides a major opportunity with that, because we're tangible, we're accessible. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring Indy on with me tonight is I wanted young girls to see what a young lady who's in a position of leadership looks like. You can aspire to be an India. You can aspire to be an Anthony. You can aspire to be an Angel. And we're reachable. We're touchable. Kids can come to our gym and talk to us about this basketball team. They're always accessible. A kid can come watch professional basketball in Charlotte now for $5 a night. They can come on a weekend and spend $20 and get a professional basketball experience and meet professional basketball players. There's a young lady that's going to come to a TBL game this year in March and meet India and aspire to be that's in you. And like that's what we hope for. That's what I hope for with my organization. That's what I look for in the people in our organization, our coaches, our players, our staff, myself, and everyone that comes around, is to provide opportunities for those that come behind us. And so I think that's the most important thing for me, going forward. Every year when I do this is, and then ultimately it's the players. In Connecticut, we had 4 players get overseas contracts last year in our first year playing. And so to have those young men call me and say, hey, I'm going overseas and now I have the ability to take care of my family. I think that's what it's all about.
I'm going to cut in and out just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll wait and see if he comes back. If not, any of you want to fill in for the moment, and then maybe Anthony will fill out, and then he'll finish up once he comes back.
Yeah, no, Ant made a lot of great points there, and we share a lot of the same ideas, which is why our partnership has started so well already. And I would just add to that as well, just offering it a safe space, a family-friendly environment, to come and enjoy games, where you can sit down and bring everyone, whether it's your toddler to your parent, to a grandparent, and giving the players this opportunity and this space to showcase their talents, not only to try to get those eyes from agents or team owners overseas, it's also their families that are able to see them. Some people who play overseas for 5-6 months a year, their kids never get to see them play in person, or their parents haven't gotten to see them play since high school, or whatever the case may be. So you're offering them that opportunity as well in that safe space where they get basketball. There's food there as well. That we're looking into having a DJ that's there, an MC on the mics to give that experience. Vendors in the lobby, so that's more exposure to other types of things. And it just is really, our goal is to give a full experience, a full professional experience, just as if you were to walk into the Hornets arena or the Nets arena or anything like that, where they're able to, walk away feeling like they were, enjoyed themselves, maybe learned something, and were able to see people in those different positions that they could aspire to be one day, as Ant mentioned as well.
Now you're talking about, as far as the opportunity, as you guys see up there on the screen there, that you have the TBL team tryouts, which will be September 25th. And again, it's opportunities. The TBL presents these opportunities, and it is up to the individual to once again go out there, reach out through social media, go out there and give your best. What's the worst you can do? Fail? And the only way you fail is you never try. So you go out there and you never know who's there, who's in the arena that you might walk away and feel like, man, I didn't give it my best. But you don't know, because you can go out there, give it your best. That's the only thing we can ever ask of anybody. Try out, figure out if it's going to work out for you. If not, just find out one of the coaches, hey, do you think I'm good enough? What do I need to work on? Because from here to January, when the season starts, a lot of things can happen. Or you may just come up short on whatever the case may be. It could have been your jump shot. It could have been the perimeter. It could have been something. But at least you have that time, if you make the team, to figure out what's going on. And obviously, you can go to the combine, then you get drafted by the team. And it's all experiences that I wish – if I would have been an actual player, that I wish I could have been, if I would have been able to get to the college level. You know how much trash talking I would have done, even if I'd have been the worst guy ever, because I was just going to have fun with it. I could have thrown up a brick and still been talking trash, only because it's part of life. Is what you want to have fun with. And with a tryout, you get the opportunity because you get to meet different people and you get to find out, am I good enough to be a part of this team and part of this organization? So I hope that everybody sees that. And those who listen to the audio side of the house here, September 25th, the Charlotte Purple Jackets are having tryouts. Please attend the tryouts. Show them what you have. And if you want to talk trash before you walk in the stadium, because obviously you're going to Curry Court. And you can't talk trash in that court unless you bring it. And I say that jokingly because it's true. You're that confidence level should already be big when you walk into there. You're not walking into the back of Dunkin' Donuts. No offense to Dunkin' Donuts, but you're not walking back there. You're not baking donuts. You're about there. You're about to throw some up there. So I hope everyone takes the opportunity to go out there and do so. So I'm going to leave that up there on the screen for a little bit and then switch back over. But a couple things that I learned.
Sure. I hope you guys can hear. Can you guys hear me again?
I sure can.
Okay. And we have a very special guest running tryouts this Sunday. So it's even more important that guys come out and, give their best and come with confidence. Vernon Maxwell former NBA champion, played with the Houston Rockets.
Wow.
Is going to be running our tryouts this Sunday. So you're going to get you're going to get seen by an actual NBA champion, somebody who's played in the league for a long time, and you'll be able to get some feedback from him as well as he's giving us feedback on what he thinks a professional basketball player looks like.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say me because I was going to border on my private jet that I don't have and go out there. But
you're always welcome, Angel. You're always welcome.
Well, I mean, that's impressive. Honestly, God, that's impressive. No, but you also talk about, too, here's the flip side to it, though, because if you do go out there and you already know what's established inside that court, it's going to be, the pressure's on. But that's good, though, because it's already someone's already looking at it like, man, I got to really challenge myself because I really need to get to that next step. So, man, listen, kudos to you guys for what you're doing because that's tremendous. See, I thought Fayetteville, when they came on a little while ago, Fayetteville talked about the different little things that I'm doing, and they do have a former Duke player, their coach right now over there in Fayetteville, which I'm pretty sure you guys end up teeing off throughout the season. So again, that's why I talked about it's going to be a tough division. But I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. And man, okay, I see big things happening down in Charlotte. That's good. So now getting away a little bit from what happens here with the team to have a little fun as well, as we have a couple minutes here before you end the show. But I learned a couple of things as far as the teams that some people like. And now, Anthony, I know you might be a season ticket holder with the Brooklyn Nets. I don't hold it against you because Brooklyn is filled with nothing but drama. So I'm just wondering and by the way, you're one team player as he talks about the vaccinations. And I don't think a lot of things the way they end up happening should have happened because I think that should have been truthfully separately away from everything that went on. But there is so much drama going on with the Nets. What do we even expect? Because it seems like two of your team players, and I'm not even going to mention them because at this point, I can't even believe they're both still there. But are we going to see the Brooklyn Nets coming back, or is Jay-Z just going to make another rap album and say, you know what, I'm done. That's it. I want no involvement with the Brooklyn Nets anymore. I'm done. What are we going to see from the Brooklyn Nets next year?
Well, the roster's still intact. Kyrie's coming back. Kevin Durant's coming back. The key to the Nets is going to be Ben Simmons. I mean, if we get anything out of Ben Simmons, and if he can return to be the person he was, in the beginning of his career, then the Nets could be very, very competitive in the East. They could be in the top 4 in the East. I mean, obviously Boston's very good. Cleveland's going to be very, very good. Getting Donovan Mitchell. Philadelphia's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we feel about the Sixers, but they're pretty good. And so Brooklyn could be a top 4 team in the East if these guys all play together and they decide that they're going to put all the other stuff to the side and just concentrate on basketball. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, all things equal, is still the best player in the league right now. So it's going to be interesting. If he can play at that level. And Kyrie is probably the best small guard in the league, under 6'3". So, but it's the head case stuff. Does Kyrie want to play 82 games? Does he want to show up to practice? Is Ben Simmons going to play at all? He claims he has a jump shot now. So we'll see.
Ben?
He's, through all things considered, he claims he has a jump shot now. So,
oh boy, we'll see because there was a lot of things he claimed in Philly and never came to fruition. The funny thing was Ben was okay for all Sixers fans. Ben was truly loved and embraced by the city because there was a lot of expectations about Ben. But then you would see as the end of the regular season start coming around, and then you would see Ben transition to somebody like, okay, are we done? Like, are we done here? Are we going to continue to play? And I know we lost Anthony. He'll end up coming back here, but I hope listen, Ben, I hope ends up turning things around because I know first he said about mental health. There were stories that came out, differently of what ended up happening. But for Ben, I hope that things do turn out for him out there in Brooklyn, but we'll see. I think the Knicks will have a better season in Brooklyn, and that's even a far stretch because the Knicks are right on the Brooklyn Nets' heels. But now I found out as well with you and the Spurs, the Houston Rockets, right? Because we see the Houston Rockets doing things. That they're young, up and coming team. So are the Spurs now going to become second to the Rockets?
I could definitely see that. Just the young guys. I think that's been kind of the philosophy of a lot of owners and coaches over the years, is to try to, once you start to get closer to rock bottom, just let it happen and then bring in as much young talent as you can, and then kind of let those guys figure it out once they all get there. But just the explosiveness, the basketball mindset of so many of these young guys, they're coming in with a lot stronger of starts than some of the greats have in the past. So I think, as long as they're willing to listen, and as we, all talked about the off the court issues, the drama, all the other back and forth, I see them modeling and, having, seeming to care more about their pregame outfits than they do about their stat lines at the end of the game. It's an interesting space, as, we talk about the culture and the current times too. Social media allows us a lot more access, and we learn a lot more about these guys than we would in the past. All of the things we know about the young Rockets players weren't things we knew about the old Spurs. So, maybe there's some whatever there, about the success that could happen. But, your initial question, I could definitely see that being the case. But as I mentioned, I will continue to believe in Pop until he calls it a day. And, even with his protege just winning a WNBA championship just the other day with the Aces. I mean, obviously, the knowledge he has and the experience that he has, as he continues to share it with, his coaching staff and his players, they'll continue to find a way to win because there's just too much knowledge there and too much great history to lay a complete egg of a season.
Right. No, it's agreed upon. And just because, as I said to Anthony earlier, finding out the team that he enjoys and that he roots for, because again, it's going to come with drama this season. But I want to show two videos here. And Anthony, I shared this with you in case you guys can't hear it. I'll end up repeating it back. The first one really doesn't have a lot of words to it. But if you call the Sixers front office, this is what you'll end up getting. Your former teammate there, and James Harden, obviously putting up a three and then walk away from it, right? Basically with the birthday cake on. So when you call, you feel the excitement. But this is on the flip side, if you call the Brooklyn Nets front office.
Hi, everyone. Well, here we are again. And I'm so sorry.
So for those who couldn't hear it, pick up the phone. It says, "Hello, everyone. Here we are again. I'm so sorry." And unfortunately, it just seems that way with Brooklyn. I hope not, because listen, I would love to see, first of all, I want to see Sixers, Brooklyn, obviously Sixers, Celtics. That I definitely want to see. And I hope that it turns around, because as when you went away, Anthony, for a moment, I was saying to India, you do realize the Knicks are on your heels, correct?
Brooklyn had a chance to take over the city, and they just are throwing it away. We had a chance to be the team in New York this year, and they're just throwing it away. Fortunately, the Knicks will be terrible, so it won't matter. We'll have this year. The Knicks should have got Donovan Mitchell, so they'll win 30 games again this year. So we'll be okay.
All right, we'll see. We will definitely see. But now here's on the flip side again, right? Because now, see, again, let me put my chest out a little bit, because everything that India has talked about tonight, with all the positivity, all the energy, everything else. Now, as we flip the script here and we go to the NFL side of the house, now the point goes to India. Why? Because we're talking about the Saints, right? The Saints show a lot of heart. The Saints, Jameis Winston, he did, the guy went through it with the Bucs. He's trying to turn things around. He was having a great season last year. No one could take that away from him before his injury. He could have made, honest to goodness, the comeback player of the year, the way he was playing. I mean, he had the right coaching staff, and everybody can see it in there. Now, Anthony. I think I'm going to have to get you an Eagles jersey, because, oh, boy.
No,
Cowboys.
please don't. Oh, please don't. Yeah, we stole a game on Sunday. Hopefully, we'll steal one this week against the Giants. But I'm shooting for 9 wins. If I can get to 9-8, I'll be happy.
Well, listen, who saw the Giants, first of all, starting out 2-0? No one saw that one because they're in a rebuild mode. So no one was able to see that. And then the same way with the Saints, both defenses showed up. And India, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You look at the first half of that game, both defenses were standing up each other. And then it kind of fell apart in the second half for the Saints. And it's the first time they allowed Brady to beat them as a Buccaneer because they were 0-4. Now he's finally 1-5 against New Orleans. And who knows, he probably end up retiring by the end of the year anyways. But the Saints, could they, Indy, do you believe in, I won't even talk about the Cowboys as far as winning division. That's not going to happen. So we won't even go there on that one. But, but no, Anthony, I'll get your reaction here in a second. But do you think, if it came down between the Bucs and the Saints at the end of the season for the 2 winning division, can the Saints actually pull it off?
I would say most definitely. For one, let's go ahead and reference the Tom Brady and iPad clips. We've got 2 years worth of video to back up the fact that if nothing else, the Saints defense gets under his skin to the point that he almost has a tantrum on the sideline. On top of the fact that, we know Tom Brady's dealing with some personal things at home. And, we all know that your personal life can affect how you play on the field as well. And, all of the retiring and coming back, he just has so many different storylines to worry about other than his stat line. Whereas the Saints, on the other hand, our fan base is always going to be there. So even if the players have a doubt in their mind, Who Dat Nation won't allow them to keep those thoughts there too much longer. Our defense has played together for so long. We've got so many strong leaders and captains on that defensive side. And then we've got fresh blood in the office. New perspective on older guys that are there or people that have been there and helping them, find new ways to be successful. And if Michael Thomas, the performance he put on in week 1, if we can get that with a healthy Alvin Kamara, with a healthy Jameis, and, a brand new coach calling everything from there, there's the sky is really the limit. And I will say the defense, they've hurt me in fantasy. Whereas as we go back to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts has really helped me in fantasy. He is my starting quarterback in fantasy. So I will give him credit where it is due. And I'm standing behind my choice and picking him up in the draft. But on the field, as long as the Saints win, I'll be okay if we don't do as well in fantasy since they're my fantasy defensive team. But the sky is really the limit for this group, and kind of like the Spurs, in years past, not as much lately, but they're one of those teams you can never fully count out because they can always be so dangerous because of the pieces that they have and the leadership that they have. They have staff that's doing it the right way, on the field all the way up to the front office.
Listen, see, Anthony, I'm about to get up, right, and take the mic that's right here and just go ahead and drop it. Do you hear the confidence from the Saints fan? Do you hear it?
That's a lot. That's a lot coming off a loss. That's a whole lot coming off a loss. But they get to play the Falcons and they get to play the Panthers, so they got a few more wins in their belt. I think your Eagles are going to win the division because they're just going to be better outside the division. I think we're both going to beat the Giants and the Commanders, and split with each other. And you guys will be better outside the division than we will. So that's why I give the Eagles the edge in the division.
Yeah,
they'll be the only team in our.
I'm sorry.
They'll be the only team in our division they'll be the only team in our division that makes the playoffs.
Yeah, I believe that as well. Now I will say this much: it's the first time in a long time the Eagles have been talked about so much before the season even started. And Howie Roseman, I've everything. That man, what he did this year when he knew that his backup was against the wall, because you know how Philly fans are. He brought it. How he made it. He turned 50 cents into $50,000. I don't know how the man does it, but he did it. And it's incredible. The one thing that I will say, and you know what, you guys, Anthony, y'all can keep your head coach, because as long as your head coach is there, we're going to keep winning division after division. Because McCarthy, to me, and again, I may not be a Cowboys fan, I thought was the silliest mistake that Dallas could have done. McCarthy was ousted out of Green Bay for a reason, and I don't believe that he has the heart to understand what Cowboys Nation has done throughout the years, the pride and just the history from the Cowboys alone. So to me, I think it's a wrong choice. But hey, you know what? Jerry Jones, that's his boy. So we'll see. I don't believe it. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen between Dak and Zeke. And by the way, whomever threw things at Dak on the way out, come on, man. And they talk about Philly.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, the man's already down and he's injured with his hand. And Dak, unfortunately, you know, it comes with injuries. But come on, man, you got to have a little more class. That stuff is ridiculous. But no, we'll see. We will, by the way, have you both back on, Anthony, especially you, because obviously from the connections and everything else you had tonight. But when it comes to Eagles versus Dallas, that's 2 more episodes that you end up coming on because you already know how that's going to go.
Well, absolutely.
Matter of fact, India, when we have Dallas week, right? I need you to be his support. Just the same thing that you brought to Saints. I need you to be his support. But listen, no. Thank you to both. India, thank you so much for coming on, Anthony, as well, and talking about the Charlotte Purple Jackets. And I hope, truthfully, that you guys truly have a successful season. It seems like you're putting all the key parts into place here. So I'm grateful to both of you. Thank you so much. And India, I may be picking your brain about some other things. So I'll make sure to reach out. But Anthony, the same way too, man. I really truly hope that with your family now being happy, being down in the Carolinas and being from up north, I wish you nothing but success.
No, we're really excited. And we some merchandise down there.
So it seems like he's breaking up just a little bit, but thank you again for having us. We look forward to coming back and not only, you know, having some success off the court, but, you know, we're going to put some wins together too. So we'll try outs this Sunday, the first out of the 3, and we'll have another one in October and our final one in January. And as you know, that schedule comes out, maybe we'll come near you and then we can make sure to have a VIP seat for you.
Well, I'd appreciate it. You're kidding me? I would definitely appreciate that one. So that'd be great. Absolutely. But no, I'm looking forward to you guys coming down here. I know that if you come down this area, I'm hoping the Titans will end up coming back, but I'm not too sure. We'll all start trying to figure out all different pieces of what's going to be happening here, and hopefully I get some more involvement with the TBL. But again, I would be. That VIP seat, I might just walk around just with a VIP shirt on just for that day. Oh, look at me, I'm VIP. But no, it's been great. I thank you guys so much. I can't wait to have you back on the show. And I'm going to keep up with you guys well throughout the season because I want to see the progresses and how everything's going, you know, whether it's being within the community, obviously within the team itself, because I think the draft this year is going to be a lot of fun. And I hope that everyone really, you know, truly shows up for the tryout. So, by the way, and I'll let it go. Anthony, I'll let you go first. As far as if anyone wants to get a hold of you, please let them know where they can get a hold of you at.
Obviously, they can follow us on all our social media, QC Purple Jackets, on Instagram, on Twitter, on I think we have a Facebook. I'm not sure. India, do we have a Facebook? So
yeah, Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah, and a TikTok. So they can follow us on all social media. Just reach out, DM India, and I'll reach back out. We're very accessible. We'll reach back out and we'll give them all the information that they need. They can follow us there.
All right, India.
Yeah, same thing. You know, our phones stay lighting up with different, you know, contacts through all 4 of the major social media platforms. And Ant mentioned earlier, outside of players, we are looking for sales individuals and also anyone in videography. If you want to work on your freelance work and put together some great video of professional athletes, you know, we are looking to connect and help out players in our community as well as, you know, those that are working off the court as well.
All right, well, listen, once again, I do appreciate it. And I hope everybody really enjoyed the show tonight. We thank you once again, those who view from Africa to Australia, Italy, Ireland, everywhere overseas, the 40 states here stateside, and our friends up to the north, along with our friends down in South America.
Hey, Angel, yeah. one thing. I'm sorry
sure.
to interrupt you at the end, but one last thing. When we play Fayetteville, you're welcome to come on up and call the game for us if you're free.
Man.
We'd love to have you come. We'd love to have you come up to Curry Court and be our on-air announcer that night.
Listen, I'm honored. Honest to God, I'm honored because I'm up for the challenge. But if I walk into Curry Court, somebody better just have a video from behind me because you're walking into nostalgia. So for me, that's just a huge honor within itself. So listen, now I'm going to talk trash when I go in there. I have no game, but I'm going there just talking all kinds of trash. But no, but listen, thank you. I'm truly honored. So let me know exactly when it happens. Therefore, I can make the trip because that would be fantastic. I would absolutely love it. So. Thank you guys once again. And again, I can't wait to have you guys back on there. Anything I can do to help, please always reach out and let me know. That way we can continue to grow the family it would be fantastic. And for everyone else, we'll be back here once again tomorrow night. It has been a filled week here at Broad Street South. Tomorrow night, as we get ready for the Eagles matchup on Sunday, catch us back here at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And don't forget to follow the Basketball League at thebasketballleague.net. And for my lovely producer over in Studio B, me being here live at the LG Direct Sales Solutions Studios in Tampa, Florida, I thank you for watching the show tonight. Everyone have a safe evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.